But we got this guy who we like very much, and he's doing some let's call it roofing work on the house. He's been very helpful. Huh?
What does that run you?
About $6,000. Right. And so he's here, and somehow we get into account. He's got kids in school, and he's complaining about his school district and that the Zoom learning, the online learning, it cuts out like every like in a 4-hour day, it cuts out 2 or 3 times. They can't even get the connection right, so everybody's miserable. And then he's talking to my wife, and it leads into him saying, only 9,000 people actually have COVID. And my wife desperately needs this guy's help, so she's like, yeah, okay, yeah. She's like, oh, I heard something like that on NPR. And he's like, yeah, it announced a couple of days ago the CDC changed their figures, and no one's reporting on it because they want it to say 180,000. So he didn't say it hurts Trump, but that he said because it's it's political. Because I said they're changing because I didn't even miss this story. So I was like, oh, this can't be right? It's not. And sure enough, my wife is desperately trying to get me to shut up because she doesn't want this guy mad at us.
She should actually just go in the closet.
I lost my temper. There's no question, because as it went on and on, I was like, no, this is inconsistent. And I Google it, I find out. I'm like, Trump said this, the tweets have been deleted. He's like, the CDC just changed it. I go, no, it's been on the CDC website since May, right? This is people who have died without any other comorbidity at all, right? And that's what it is. The other people have also died of COVID and other things, sometimes caused by COVID, right? But no, he's like, no, they just updated it. I haven't read that. And so it became clear to me that he goes, where are you reading that? I go, the Washington Post. And he's like, well, right? And I thought, you can't, there is just this, it doesn't hold the same level of import. It means nothing to so many people that, if a reporter, if it was true, right, that not 180,000 people have died of COVID, it's 9,000, and the other 171,000, they died of cancer or emphysema or diabetes or whatever else you die of, right? Kidney failure, it had nothing to do with COVID. You don't think one reporter somewhere would think that's a pretty cool story, right? Yeah. And he's like, no, they're all in bed. And Fauci goes, Fauci, and I go, what's Fauci's incentive for creating hysteria? And he's like, well, he's got the thing, he's tied in with Bill and Melinda.
Bill and Melinda, who are giving away every one of their dollars over the course of their lives and in perpetuity, he's tied in with them.
Right, so they want what? To get a vaccine that we don't need so that they can sell the vaccine to people who don't need the vaccine so that they can make more money that they will then give away. Like, what's the incentive?
No, Ben, you haven't heard about the vaccine?
I have, no.
It's so that they can inject trackers into our bodies. Some kind of electronic tracker nanocell technology will be injected into our bodies through this vaccine. The conspiracy theories, not only are they comically ridiculous, it's funny how anxious people are to believe them.
Yeah.
That's the really disturbing thing, right? I mean, we live among, hundreds of millions of cult members because they just are looking for someone to say something and then go with it. My biggest problem is some of the stuff is so whack that I don't have a retort. Like if I wouldn't have anything at my fingertips to say to this guy who said there are only 9,000 cases of COVID, because I've never been prepared to have to speak to somebody with that.
My wife and I had a few pleasantly, I must say, sharp words for each other when we came upstairs, because she was like, what are you doing? You're acting like a crazy person. And I was like, and I don't act like a crazy person very often. And I was like, I can't stand that guy in my house. And she was like, shouldn't you, you're so good at reasoning, shouldn't you tell him and talk him out of it? And Michael, you've said it better. Because no, I can't. What am I supposed to say to this guy? There is nothing that you can say to this guy to snap him out of it or make him realize that just because the Washington Post has gotten some stories wrong, that they're not all wrong. And he, of course, went back to, hey, Fauci first said, don't wear masks. Now wear masks. So why should I believe anything he says?
Yeah. Well, And good for you, because I just will not argue, debate, or deal, because you can't have an argument with something that's not based in any fact at all, right? When it's just when their argument is fake news, right? How do you come back to that? And I just recently had that happen with somebody who is listening to my podcast, and I was talking about some story, and they said, yeah, I was talking to somebody and I told them something, and they said, where'd you find that? And he said, in the New York Times. And then he said, oh, well, of course. And then he said, well, it was also on CBS, NBC, ABC. And they were like, yeah, well, all of them. And it's like, yes, they all get together to lie to you. And Fox News is the only one telling the truth. And even Fox News, if they go against, because recently they've been going against the grain on some of the most ridiculous stories, and they'll call that fake news. So yeah, I've given up. I don't argue. I don't argue with Fox News or racists over 40. Those are my rules.
Yeah, no, those are good rules. Yeah, I couldn't. I backed away, but it was a heated 2 or 3 minutes. But we needed some piping done, so I went upstairs. Yeah, I don't know. Can't remember what he was. I know he's important. He's fixed a bunch of stuff. Yeah. But it goes to Michael's point and Alonzo's point you just made, that they've just decided that because the press is sometimes wrong, they've always been wrong because people lie to them, right? And truth is hard to get when people are trying to obfuscate the truth. But my other thought, like, if there was a conspiracy here to make up this disease, or over there, that liberal reporters would be anxious to break that story because they're really interested in news and truth, right? So I'm saying, even if you think they're liberal, right? Nobody would come across that information and hide. And again, it's interesting that they would be inflating this. The government would be inflating these figures when this guy runs the government.
All right, thanks for watching this free clip of Old School. Don't forget to become a TYT member today for the rest of the show and for more exclusive content throughout the network. Join now at tyt.com/join.